Hello and welcome to Daily Records. I am Tommy Burton, and today we're continuing with our series on the Byrds. And this album actually has no Byrds on it whatsoever, but this is definitely a Byrds-inspired album. This is Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, Damn the Torpedoes. This was the third album released by the band, released on October 19th, 1979 on Backstreet, which was a subsidiary of MCA Records. This album was released right before Tom Petty turned 29, and it was one of the first big, huge commercial successes of Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. Now, there was a lot of critical and commercial acclaim on the first two albums, but this album went all the way up to number 2 and became triple platinum. And it did rank on the Rolling Stone list of 500 greatest albums of all time. Probably considered one of the great albums by Tom Petty. Now, a little background on the album. His recording, he had been with ABC Records, who was distributing Tom's music. Excuse the sneeze. Who had been putting out stuff, but once that got dissolved, his contract was assigned to MCA. And once it sold to MCA in 79, Tom Petty was like, well, that contract couldn't be assigned because he didn't give permission, and so it was voided. And so MCA sued Tom Petty for breach of contract. And Tom Petty, in turn, declared bankruptcy, and he was trying to get out of it. And so what ended up happening was he settled a new contract with Backstreet, which is, again, a subsidiary of MCA. So funny how those things work out. But he got together with Jimmy Iovine and went to Sound City Studios in Van Nuys. See that documentary that Dave Grohl did on that. Really good stuff. And went in the studio and recorded the album. Now, like I said, this was a breakthrough album. It was their first top 10 album. But it was held out from the number 1 spot by Pink Floyd's The Wall. So he was in good company, I suppose, in terms of commercial success. There were 2 songs that made the top 15 singles, Don't Do Me Like That, as well as Refugee. But, there's a lot of other songs that are well known on this album, like Here Comes My Girl, Even the Losers, You Tell Me, all songs that are very well known. But Rolling Stone went overboard when this album came out. They said, this is it. This is the album we've been waiting for. And, they just basically declared it one of the all-time great albums right there. And I understand why, because it definitely holds up. It's a solid album. And it certainly heralded the arrival of Tom Petty as one of the major artists. And so there he is looking silly with his Groucho, and there's another great picture of Handsome Tom, as I like to call him. But, the famous thing is, one of the early Tom Petty hits, American Girl. From what I understood, and just to tie this in with the Byrds, is when American Girl came on the radio, McGuinn was driving in his car, and he pulled over, and he thought that he had written the song. Now, funny enough, McGuinn recorded his own version of American Girl on his album Thunderbird, spelled with a Y, of course. And so it sort of cemented a friendship between Tom and Roger McGuinn that lasted all the way up until Tom's death. They were really good buddies and even co-wrote some songs together. So Tom Petty was definitely a huge Byrds fan, and as if the Rickenbacker on the front cover of his album wasn't enough. But Damn the Torpedoes, today's daily record from Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. Enter the Byrds contest that I'm running, my first VC contest, and win the prize of David Crosby's solo album. And you can get the information. You know where to go. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter. It's TommyBurton75. Like, comment, subscribe, and share. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you all again tomorrow with another Daily Record.